Shabbat Shalom and welcome to the temple for Shabbat evening services on the second night of Hanukkah. We welcome you to join our congregation as we pray together and lift our spirits, bring light to the world. If you have a prayer book of the Reform movement, Mishkan Tefillah, we'll be leading services out of Mishkan Tefillah for Shabbat. If you don't have a copy of this prayer book, you can follow along in the YouTube description. You'll find a flip book that can direct you along the way, or you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy Shabbat together with us. We have a special service planned for you for this Shabbat of Hanukkah, but it begins, as we always begin, with a welcome. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet amim gam yachad. How good it is and how glorious when a community can gather as one.
Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet amim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet amim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet amim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet amim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'ma na'im shevet amim gam yachad.
We now have an answer to the burning question, do you like the Shabbat candles or the Hanukkah candles first? And to answer this question by action, Chava Penner Johnson and her family will be leading us in the lighting of Hanukkah candles. They're the winners. Chava?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with commandments and commanded us to light the Hanukkah lights.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav utzivanu lihadlik ner shel Hanukkah.
Pick up your candle. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavotenu bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Light it. Okay, wait. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, for having brought miracles for our ancestor in those days at this time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim la'avotenu bayamim ha'im bazman hazeh.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam orei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen.
Your house is glowing with light and joy. Thank you for sharing it with us, Tava.
Beautiful.
Good job, boys. We continue now with a special prayer for the second night of Hanukkah 2020. A lamp glows inside your heart with 8 ways to light it, 8 ways to keep it shining, 8 ways to make it glow. Light it with your joy, light it with your tears, light it with your song, light it with the works of your hands. Light it with hope, light it with service, light it with this prayer. Light it with praise to God's holy name. Bring the lamp of your soul out into the street so that all you have to forget are the miracles that surround you. Remember always the light of God which shines within us all. So that all you have forgotten are the miracles of old. Remember them and remember to rejoice in the miracles of today. A lamp glows inside your children and your children's children. Keep it shining. Watch it glow. Light it with our joy. Light it with your tears. Light it with your song. Light it with the works of your hands. Light it with hope. Light it with service. Light it with prayer. Light it with praise to God's holy name. May this festival of light inspire us to be bearers of light in a darkened world, repairers of the breach, defenders of justice, builders of a better world for us all. Amen. We continue now with the singing of Lecha Dodi on page 20.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikabla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nikabla. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach.
We continue now with our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, which can be found on page 28.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamivorach. Hamivorach, Baruch Adonai, Hamivorach, Le'olam, Le'olam Va'ed. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. Praise be the one to whom our praise is due. Now and forever. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya 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 la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
We continue with the Ve'ahavta on page 36. Ve'ahavta eit Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, u'b'chol me'odecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam. V'shivtecha b'veitecha, u'vlechtecha v'derech, u'shochbecha u'vkumecha. U'kshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu letotofot beinenecha. Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. Lama'an tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be a symbol between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. Teach them faithfully unto your children. Speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise, and when you rise.
Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the strength to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and your love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way, inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again overcoming oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it's been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom, aleinu va'al kol amo Yisrael, va'al Yerushalayim. The Shamru, page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidortum berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidortum berit olam. Bini uvin, bini Israel, oti leolam, oti leolam. Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, lidortum berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidortum berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדור תום ברית עולם.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We rise for the tefillah.
Ananananananana Adonai, Anananananana Svatai Tiftav, Anananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Anananananana Adonai, Anananananana Svatai Tiftav, Anananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Anananananana Adonai, Anananananana Svatai Tiftav, Anananananana Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem l'ma'an Shemo ba'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, God of our fathers and mothers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekah, God of Rachel, and God of Leah, the great, mighty, and awesome God, transcendent God, who bestows loving kindness, creates everything out of love, remembers the love of our fathers and our mothers, and brings redemption to their children's children for the sake of the divine name. Sovereign, deliverer, helper, and shield. Blessed are you, Adonai, Sarah's helper, Abraham's shield. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. You are forever mighty, Adonai. You give life to all. You cause wind to shift and rain to fall. You sustain life through love, giving life to all, through great compassion, supporting the fallen, healing the sick, freeing the captive, keeping faith with those who sleep in the dust. Who is like you, source of mighty acts? Who resembles you, a sovereign who takes and gives life, causing deliverance to spring up and faithfully giving life to all? Blessed are you, Adonai, who gives life to all. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Days pass, and the years they vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence like lightning illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out in holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. We continue now on page 60 with our prayer for peace. Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvorech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
Shalom. Shalom Ra al Yisrael Amcha Tosim Li'olam Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol HaShalom Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lekol HaShalom V'tov Einecha Livarech et Amcha Yisrael B'chol L'ituv Shama Baruch atah Adonai Oseh HaShalom.
Please take a moment for silent prayer. We turn now to page 253, page 253, for the prayer Mishaberach, prayer of hope, a prayer for courage, a prayer for healing, which we need now more than ever. We ask God's blessing on all of us and all of you, those we love and those for whom we care, those who are sick and those who care for them, for all of us, building a world of holiness and justice and peace. Please join us in these words of Mishaberach.
Before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha lavotinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
The real story of Hanukkah begins after the Bible is done. The age of the Maccabees and their brave revolt in the name of religious freedom came some 250 years after the last books of the Hebrew Bible were already set in place. But the miraculous legend of that small band of warriors who stood against the vast armies of Antiochus for the sake of their beliefs lived on in the post-biblical book of Maccabees. That was the first story of Hanukkah, but there would be plenty more stories of Hanukkah after that. The Talmud pays scant attention to the holiday of Hanukkah. 63 volumes of Talmud covering literally every aspect of Jewish life and law, and Hanukkah gets not one. A brief mention of the miracle of oil in the tractate on Shabbat, the oil that lasted 8 days when it should have only lasted for one, and then some classically Talmudic arguing about how to light the Hanukkah candles, where to place the Hanukkah menorah. Are you really allowed to read by the light of the Hanukkah menorah? Yes. And then it's done. The rabbis who wrote the Talmud had no love lost for the Hasmoneans, the descendants of the Maccabees who were priests. I suppose old rivalries live on even during Hanukkah. And there are women's tales of Hanukkah from the late ancient age as well. The story of Hannah and her 7 sons who sacrificed their lives one by one rather than bow down to Antiochus as God. And the hero's tale of the brave Judith who slew the enemy general, Holofernes, and saved her city from destruction. But Hanukkah remained a minor holiday until it came to America and found its home. And I know what you're thinking. It's all about competing with that other winter festival of lights. But there are deeper bonds between this land of freedom and those who fought for freedom in the ancient land so long ago. The uniquely American Hanukkah, filled with public celebrations, gift-giving, synagogue services, grand family gatherings, dreidel games with chocolate gelt and tasty treats, that began not so far from here and not so long ago, at least if you believe the 2 rabbis from Cincinnati who claim to have invented it all. Rabbi Isaac Mayer Wise, the founding father of Reform Judaism, his picture sitting right over there in the front row, along with Rabbi Max Lilienthal, also from Cincinnati, are generally credited by historians as the motivating force towards the evolution of Hanukkah from its origins as a minor festival with a tiny ritual that took place largely at home, rather than the synagogue, to one of major prominence in American Jewish life. In the years after the Civil War, as Christmas began to increase as a secular holiday practiced widely by American families, Rabbi Wise and Lilienthal used their newspapers to publicize the idea of involving children in a much grander Hanukkah holiday festival and encouraging congregations across the country to participate. It's all there in the pages of the American Israelite, so that should be it. Except a famous American Jewish woman had said pretty much the same thing more than a decade before. 10 years before Wise or Lilienthal would invent the synagogue-based model for public Hanukkah celebrations, Emma Lazarus, the great American Jewish poet whose sonnet adorns the Statue of Liberty, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free," had already written an earlier poem in her youth, which was published as The Feast of Lights and set to music with the title Kindle the Tapers, and was played regularly for services at Hanukkah and at her family's congregation, the historic Spanish and Portuguese Synagogue of New York, the oldest synagogue in America. That would make Emma Lazarus the founding mother of Hanukkah in America, if it weren't for the fact that another American Jewish woman had invented Hanukkah a full generation before. The first tangible evidence of Hanukkah being celebrated as an important holiday in the United States is credited to none other than the belle of the Old South, a woman born in Charleston, South Carolina, in 1797. Her name was Penina Moise. Sometime in the 1820s, she composed a hymn called The Feast of Lights, which was sung at services by a large choir singing the story of Hanukkah in English amidst the elegant candlelighting ceremony on the first night of Hanukkah each year. This grand public celebration of Hanukkah became a fixture of the beginning of Charleston society's busy social schedule. So it started in Charleston with Miss Penina Moise, who was the founding mother of Hanukkah in America. Definitely. Unless you count George Washington, who once recounted how he celebrated Hanukkah in the bitter cold of Valley Forge on the second night of Hanukkah in December of 1778 with an unnamed Jewish soldier, a Polish immigrant, who told the general he had fled his homeland because he could not practice his faith under the Prussian government there. Washington was walking among the troops when he saw a young soldier sitting apart from the others, huddled over what looked like two tiny flames. Washington approached the soldier and asked him what he was doing. The soldier explained that he was a Jew and that he'd lit the candles to celebrate Hanukkah, a festival commemorating the miraculous victory of his people so many centuries ago over the tyranny of a much better equipped and more powerful enemy who had sought to deny them their freedom. The soldier then expressed his confidence that just as, with God's help, the Jews of ancient times were ultimately victorious, so too would the Americans be victorious in their just cause for freedom. The future founding father thanked the soldier and walked back to where the rest of the troops had camped, warmed by the inspiration that these two little flames might bring the knowledge that miracles can happen even now. But whether it was Washington and our unknown soldier of the American Revolution, or Panina Moise, who lit up Charleston's Jewish life, or Emma Lazarus, who inspired the America to be a land of freedom for all who came to our shores, or Rabbis Wise and Lilienthal, who thought they invented it all, you can see a pattern here, I'm sure. The great American Hanukkah has become just that because religious freedom, the forever fight for democracy, respect for diversity, and the power of a small light to illumine the darkness, the ability of a few people to make a difference in the world. These are the American values which the American Hanukkah has grown to represent. May we all be bearers of such vision and such light. Happy Hanukkah. Shabbat Shalom.
Light one candle for the Maccabee children. Give thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. Light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in. Let anger not tear us apart. Light one candle to band us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so highly that we kept alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? We have come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail. This is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we cannot fail. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, it's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out, let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out, don't let the light go out, don't let the light go out.
We rise for the Elenu, page 283. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spreads out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above, and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God, there is none else.
Va'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
We continue on page 287. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding, loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד. It has been said Adonai will be sovereign over all the earth. On that day Adonai will be one, and God's name will be one, and God's name will be one.
We continue on page 289. The light of light is a finite flame. Like Shabbat candles, life is kindled. It burns, it glows, it's radiant with warmth and beauty. But too soon it fades. Its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see. In light we are seen. The flames dance, and our life burns down in gutters. There's an end to the flames. We see no more, and we are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts turn to those who've departed from this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and our neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss of life and death. This week in our congregation, we remember the names of Lonnie Nafuzzi and Marianne Morgan, John A. DeAngelo, Alvin Linker, Frida Linker, Josephine L. Marks, William Kahn, Victor Cohen, Morton F. Baum, David H. Weiss, Louis Steinberg, Abraham Sidney Roden, Edward Gladstone, Warner Hammond, Philip Yaffe, Blanche Eiferman, Charlotte Landy, Evelyn Simon, Paul Suzanne, Louis Glazer, Alvin Frocht, Elizabeth Marks, Barbara Rifkin Strauss, Shirley Rollins, Molly Gomberg, ABI Bronstein, Sylvia Shapira, Harrison Weber, Blanche Solomon, Louis Zoller, Deborah Reichman, John M. Mayer Sr., Irving Schuster, Mary Brousseau, Gail Sherman, Irving Yarmouth, Claire S. Weinberg, Jacob Sachs, Corinna Maya, William Katz, Henry Bronner, Slomo Suponinsky, Lawrence E. Lynch, Patsy Brown, Ann Silver, Frances Moorman, Ruth Grodsky, and Marjorie Axler. And two who died in recent days, Mark Uslander and Elise Medinger. Zichronam livracha. May their memory be for blessing as we say these words of Kaddish. Please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Balma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala uvizman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam ulmei omaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekurishah b'rechu, Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlom Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say together, Amen. Our closing song is Ma'ot Tzur, Rock of Ages. You can find it on page 365 in the prayer book. Please join in.
Ma'ot Tzur Yeshuati, Lekanai Lishabeach, Tikkun Beit Tefilati, V'sham Toda Nizabeach, Li'itachid Modbeach, Mitzaram Nabeach, Azegmor B'shir Mizmor, Chanukat HaMizbeach, Azegmor B'shir Mizmor, Chanukat HaMizbeach. Rock of Ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amidst the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us, and your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Children of the
Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, our God and God of our ancestors, from generations long, long ago. God of light, teach us to be bearers of light and bringers of light into a darkened world. May we together build a nation that is one and at peace, a world where all have the opportunity to live and share in all of life's bounty. May this blessing at this festival of light remind us of the light we can shed in the world and that you bring to us always. We ask God's blessing on all who've joined us this day, on the community we share, and our lives together. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you from harm. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yikuneka. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted unto you and grant you always the blessing of peace. Shabbat Shalom and Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.